this butthole did you get out of yourself? That was really cool, by the way.
I guess what I learned most of all was that you should always take responsibility for your actions, unless you don't have to.
George, what was...
Started. Let's jump in here. Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the show. How are you? Hello. Hi, chat room. I'll just jump straight in and talk to you guys. Good day, good evening, good afternoon. It's Hal Sparks, Megaworldwide, the greatest live stream in the history of live streams. I'm your host, Hal Sparks, and I will be Hal Sparksing the rest of the night, as Hal Sparks has been wont to do on his own goddamn show. And don't forget, there's a lot of shows coming up. I feel like I just got done with a big, tsunami of them, and it's weird having a week at home where I'm not actually on the road specifically for anything. I have the CES is this weekend, but it's here, and so I'm fine. But right after that, then we're off to the races again. January 23rd at Flappers in Burbank, sunny downtown Burbank. I will be doing stand-up as part of my ongoing monthly. It feels weird calling it a residency because that's like you live there. It's more like my. I treat it more like a flop house that I roll into every so often. But that will be on the 23rd, the 24th. I'm performing in Anaheim at the NAMM Jam, which is the ultimate jam nights. The National Association of Music Makers specific show. I'll be doing like a tune and a half there and some hosting. And on a Tuesday before that, which is the 21st. Yes, sure, why not? Ultimate Jam Night has its 10th anniversary, and I will be hosting that all the way through and singing a couple or three songs, which will be a good time. And hopefully we'll have a bunch of people coming back around to join in the festivities with us. Good times overall. And Yeah, more to come. But that's those. Oh, and then of course, Sexy Liberals the weekend right before that. Derp. So Sexy Liberal DC is the 18th. It's the Saturday before all that stuff. So that week, pow. I will. I think we're flying out of DC, Summer and I, on the like before the inauguration, which I think is wise. Like day of, like in the morning. Like we'll leave DC when Biden's still in charge of shit. I think that's safe. I think I want my plane to land before dipshit takes over, because I don't trust like any government agency to function automatically after that. Anyways, it's going to be a big to do for about a week, and if you're in the area for any of those, join me. If not, live streaming will continue apace, as it were. And so, hello, and thank you guys for joining me. Thank you for giving me the greatest gift you can never give another person, and that is your time. I will do my best not to waste it while I am mocking and fact-checking, which are the two primary things that I do here, often at the same time. I try to, and the people that I believe are themselves time wasters. I'll give you an example. This fucking dude. To some, he used to be the Nuge. And to some, I guess he was, was Wang Dang something Poontangy guy. He was the Cat Scratch Fever guy. He was part of the Amboy Dukes and stuff. And at one point, part of Damn Yankees, which was like a curse against the Yankees, like the North from the South, largely, which is weird, anti-American in some ways, but whatever. And he's, yes, I know some of you are like, wait a minute, is his beard longer, but he's wearing the same fucking shirt as last time? Yeah, you can almost smell this video. It is blissfully short, though. It is titled, if I may, Our Government Has Red Carpeted Terrorists. I guess that's easier than saying our government has rolled out the red carpet for terrorists, is clearly his point. But I'm sorry, I'm assuming he has one,
I gotta barbecue your assy molasses!
Right, so I apologize. This is Ted Nugent's Spirit Cooking. Where he, I guess he earns his place in Pizzagate or something. Yeah, Turd Nugget, absolutely. Apparently, he's not short on arrows right now with his, true to Native American history compound bow that he uses, along with this, like, asshole flag that says, "I will not comply," which, of course, he absolutely would. Does he, hey asshole, do you carry that rifle through an airport? Do you? How about this? When you if you get pulled over and you have one in the car, do you reach for it and point it out the window really quick to let them know you have it? Do you go, hey, back off, I'm armed? Do you do that? Then of course you fucking comply. Shut the fuck up. Again, what do you mean when they come to take it, which they're not doing? So you comply everywhere except the magical fairy dust land where the roundup crowd is coming to take your boom boom. Shut the fuck up. You comply all the fucking time, dude.
I have no...
Hey, asshole, by the way, you comply to the terms of service on fucking Rumble to post this video.
Parameters except good over evil.
This is his only parameter, good over evil. And so to him, threatening a woman that he's going to shove that rifle in particular, or the one it's based on, up between her legs into her internal organs and open fire with it is good, according to Ted, who does not now and has never gone to church, and at one point, I guess, faked shitting his pants or shit his pants on purpose to get out of the draft, and also adopted an underage girl because in Michigan the statutory rape laws don't apply to incest. Just so you know what his standard of good is. I'm just trying to help you out so we're clear.
And remember when I told you that our government has not only welcomed and red carpeted and incentivized and rewarded terrorists into our country with fentanyl killing hundreds of thousands of Americans.
Wait, sorry. If the fentanyl trackers being a totally different thing. So you're talking about, I suppose, Chinese terrorists or something? Is that the theory? So let me get this straight. Anytime there's a government failure around any particular kind of an issue, that rewards the terrorists and it lays out the red carpet for them. So if, let's say, I don't know, Alex Jones, I'm just spitballing here, sells a supplement on his site that has traces of lead in it and end up giving people health problems. And again, I'm just spitballing here. He does that, and no government agency steps in until it's too late, I suppose, and a bunch of people have been made sick by this shit. That rolls out the red carpet. That's our government rolling out the red carpet for terrorists. Just any, because they don't have to obviously be linked. They can just be, okay.
Through the Democrat Trump derangement syndrome zombie devil gang.
Do you have to belong to all of those things? I mean, is it just, I'm pretty sure it's just, since I'm a Democrat, I automatically just fall into the rest of those things. Also, would you be included as well? Because I personally think, and this is, you can correct me on this if you think I'm mistaken, but I think it's deranged, for example, to think Donald Trump is a good person when he indeed was friends with Jeffrey Epstein for 2.5 decades and Alan Dershowitz and other people who've argued, obviously, that there should be no age of consent, and has a, if there's grass on the field, let's play attitude, and younger. I would consider that bad. I would say you'd have to be deranged. But, you know, all right, okay, maybe we're both in this group, or maybe, I think it's just me, isn't it? It's just me. He means just me, right? And us. Okay, good.
That don't believe America is a country, because if you believe in open borders, you hate America.
Yeah, I don't believe in open borders, and I don't hate America. I believe in a functioning asylum system, and I believe in legal immigration, and I also believe in moats and alligators and mounted 50 cals on an electrified wall are probably not the best way to handle, immigration that's illegal. That maybe that, or barbed wire, let's say, something else. Especially if we're the richest country in the world. I mean, I think you just bust people back out in that regard. Also, tracking everybody would be a good idea, since we're so technologically advanced, and you do a DNA test on everybody, so you have, so if you separate a family or you find out that somebody was carrying somebody else's kid through, and wherever you could reunite those people and send them back, I think that's reasonable. Obviously, a protection that would be afforded to Americans, that you have a right to privacy on those things, but if you cross into a country illegally, then you take on other traits. So that would be work. I would say yes. I would say the United States is indeed a country. Turd nugget. Please continue.
Well, I'm a Democrat, but I don't believe it. If you're a Democrat, that's your policy.
No, it isn't. Otherwise, why would we have wanted to pass the border bill? Dum-dum.
You support open borders that kill Americans.
No, again, Title 42 was the open border policy. We tried to shut it down even earlier than Biden ultimately did. That was an open border policy. It basically created a conveyor belt.
And welcome in jihadists from the Congo and Nigeria and Somalia and the Sudan and communists.
Weird. Are all jihadists black? Or just the ones you're scared of? What'd you just do a show in Dubai and they paid you to be there, dumb fuck? So suddenly you're okay with whatever your phrase, camel jockeys or whatever you usually throw around? Interesting. Just, I don't know. It's weird to me. Does it seem weird to you that the jihadis are all black? Doesn't that seem strange? I don't know. It seems like it right off the top of your head. Okay.
China. And the drones are flying over the East Coast looking for nukes. We covered this before, but this asshole thinks
that the lost nuclear material was an actual nuke. It was a nuclear bomb, and that apparently the Chinese were helping us look for it or something. Obviously, it was, for those that don't know, there was a crate with radiology equipment in it, an MRI machine, had the extra pieces of like radioactive material in it, and it automatically triggers a be on the lookout thing for it, but it was supposed to be there and it just didn't show up. You can handle it. Won't even make you sick. Just saying. We covered this before. I mean, but why should we expect Ted to be on top of it?
That our government welcomed people in without vetting them and are actually taking our tax dollars.
Wait, if they welcomed them, how do you know? How do you know? I mean, if they were jihadis or whatever, obviously somebody went, hey, that's a jihadi, and they did nothing about this person, and they were welcomed, then you know that they were there. So they were tracked somehow, is the theory, or they were kicked out, and they were welcomed only because it took a little while to process them or something?
Boarding them and then giving them a flight from the prisons of Venezuela.
What? Hold. Blah, blah, blah. Real quick. I'm sorry, you lost me there for a second. How? When? Where? What? Okay. When? So they start. Let's just pick one. They start. A jihadi in Somalia is welcomed into the country as revenge against or in support of fentanyl. And this person, whoever the fuck they are, who is a gotaway and you don't know who they are, managed to get in the country and was welcomed, and then somehow they ended up in a Venezuelan prison. And then they got a flight from the Venezuelan prison to where? Hold on, wait. Run this by me again.
China. Mm-hmm. And the drones are flying over the East Coast.
Drones are flying over the East Coast. I got that part. Looking for nukes, which I don't know if you mean they're looking at our nuclear facilities or they're looking for the nuclear material. I don't actually think you know either way. You wouldn't know enough details about either version of your bullshit to figure it out, but it's adorable. Okay.
Looking for nukes that our government welcomed people in without vetting them.
Sorry, did they bring the nukes? Sorry, the people that we welcomed in brought the nukes? I'm so confused.
And are actually taking our tax dollars, rewarding them, and then giving them a flight from the prisons of Venezuela.
How did they get there? Was it a round trip? I guess that's what I'm wondering. It had to be a round trip flight, right? Did we pay for them to go to Venezuela, or did they walk there and then we flew them back? Just like that was their reward, like it's the Amazing Race. All right, wait. There's only this is such a short clip. It's like 2 minutes. Chat room, real quick. Check me real quick, just in case. Does any of this make any fucking sense? I gotta say, it's like he was walking across a room full of maggot refrigerator poetry, and he tripped and fell on a metal floor, and they all just went flah. And he went, okay, all right, you're fucked. Read it. You can't peel them off. They're all stuck now. The magnet's too strong. Read them as they fell. I don't. Yeah, you're probably right, Randall. I don't. I know a lot of people who do drugs, and I don't think they would understand them either. Yeah, fuck it. All right, good. At least it's not me. I was worried. I was like, maybe this fits someone's view of something. He posted this clip, by the way. I'd like to say for the record, they put this up. He was like, nailed it. Cut, use that take. That's the solo.
No, this is not the new script for Escape from New York.
No, Escape from New York was a good one. It sounds more like the script for Escape from LA, which sucked. It sounds like, quite frankly, that Carpenter's lost his fucking mind and we're doing Escape to Toledo at this point. What in the world?
This is our government right now.
No, it actually isn't, you weirdo. None of that is our government right now, honestly.
And if you're not communicating
obviously, please tell us, Uncle Turd, tell us all how to communicate. You're so good at it. You're a master.
Things need to be redundant.
Huh? Sorry, back up.
Prisons of Venezuela.
Prisons? Mm-hmm.
No, this is not the new script for Escape from New York. This is our government right now. And if you're not communicating, some things need to be redundant.
If you're not communicating, if you're not communicating, some things mean. Well, in his defense, both of those statements are absurd, which is sort of redundant. If you're saying just non sequitur bullshit over and over again, it is in its own way redundant. I can't argue with that. This is the same shit over and over again.
Engineered redundancy.
I don't know what that means.
Whew. Tell your mayor.
My mayor? Okay.
Tell your chief of police. Mm-hmm. Tell your sheriff.
Yes. How do I spot him? Is he he's the dude with the curly-Q mustache and that kind of right, that guy. All right.
Tell your game warden.
My gay what?
Tell your state trooper commander and your senator and your congressman, your ombudsman, and your
ombudsman,
state rep, and your governor and your attorney general.
Can you just say every politician you can look up an email or a phone number for in your circle of whatever the fuck? What am I supposed to tell them?
And your lieutenant governor. Hammer the living out of these people that it's the Constitution.
Oh, yeah, sure. The Constitution, which provides for the general welfare, for example. That would mean that you'd probably set up, I don't know, a national healthcare system to make sure that everybody got a baseline of healthcare, and that you'd have a Department of Education, say, for public education, and that along with the military, which you would go, obviously you have to have a standing military to fight back against anybody that would attack the system from without. You would also have, say, disinformation and misinformation warriors within the government to push back on foreign influence, pushing inward and trying to, dismantle things from the inside out by, I don't know, feeding bizarre talking points through a blender into some gibberish-brained fuckwad former rock star to spew out all over Real America's Voice, which is neither real nor nor anyone's voice. It's really just a small corporate news outlet. Like that? You mean I should tell them that the Constitution's important? Right. Okay. Oh, you mean the part like, obviously the amendments, the First Amendment, the freedom of speech and freedom of religion, which of course would guarantee you couldn't, say, put the Ten Commandments up in front of any school. That would be straight up. I mean, that's constitutional law right there. You're absolutely right. I should call. You know what? I take it all back, kids. He said one sensible thing. Contact your congressperson and say, the Congress, your ombudsman and your sheriff and whoever the fuck else. Let them know that putting the Ten Commandments in front of a school is a violation of the Constitution. Thanks, Ted.
Law and order.
I see. So no storming of the Capitol, no hanging around with Jeffrey Epstein, and no wishing Ghislaine Maxwell well or any of that shit. Okay. No breaking of like the Logan actor or hanging out with Logan Paul. I think they should both be equally.
Quit engineering violent crime and welcoming in jihadists.
Yeah, that's what it is. Uncle Ted is just worried that these criminals from outside the country are taking good, solid criminal jobs from American patriotic criminals. He's tired of being in his neighborhood in Michigan surrounded by out-of-work crooks who are having their jobs taken by Venezuelan gangs. We need some good thanks, Ted. We need some good old-fashioned American crime. That's right. And none of this Soprano shit either. You don't think Ted believes the Italians are white, do you? Get out of here. Yeah. So 14th Amendment would be the Constitution, that be kind of thing. I think Tara Dublin would find it weird agreeing with you that we should follow the Constitution, and of course the amendments involved in that. So no felon can be president of the United States. I'm just throwing that out there. That I think the name of this is obviously Ted Nugent in some sort of manic fit has decided that Donald Trump cannot be president, and that he comes out on today of all days. Ted Nugent comes out against the certification of Trump for president because he wants the Constitution followed. It's law and order, motherfucker. 14th Amendment. That's what he means. Way to go, Ted. Look at this. So we all... I will never cease to be amazed. It's Al Sparks, Megaworldwide. And sometimes we deal with lunacy. There's no other way around it. That's Ted Nugent on his weird little spirit cooking show, talking shit about, I don't know what the fuck. Honestly, I couldn't make sense of any of that. There was another one, too. Hold on. This one. Hold on. Can I bring out, while we're at it, because I got to see if maybe this is a trend. Hold on. This is another one. It's same show, I think, but you can't tell because he never washes his self. If I might, this is the same shirty mess, whatever. This is titled, Nobody trusts the government anymore. Well, now that Trump's been elected, I think we got a good reason to. Why would you be saying this when Republicans have taken the House and the Senate and the presidency, if that's who your people are? Because maybe he'll explain it. Maybe something Democrat, open border, Soros, demon, something or other. Probably. Okay, let's see. And by the way, Ted, you look fantastic. You don't look like you need sleep or that you've been asleep for 100 years either.
The ATF is like the FBI agents. Well, it's not a terrorist attack. You haven't done any research yet. Shut the front door.
The ATF, I suppose we're talking about New Orleans. You know what? Why am I trying to add context to Ted's clip? Why would I bother? Why is it up to me? If Turd wants to put his clips on, starting in the middle, who am I to argue with him? And I'll just go with, no one knows what the fuck you're talking about. You seem to just be dropping, quote, 3-letter organizational names because you think that's a talking point.
Nobody trusts you guys. Nobody trusts the ATF. Nobody trusts the FBI.
Yeah, they do. You know how you know? When they actually show up. I don't give a rat fuck what you think about them in the abstract. But if you found out the ATF raided a house on your block, you'd be like, what was that motherfucker doing? You wouldn't go, oh, Gary? No way. You'd go, what the fuck is Gary doing? Right? For real. If the FBI surrounded a location anywhere near you, would you be going, oh, that poor man? Seriously. Would you? Oh, God, this is so stupid.
Nobody trusts the DEA.
Did you just get, tipped off from Don Jr. that you're about to be raided?
We have more fentanyl killing more Americans than ever before, and there's a...
actually, no, it's down from the peak, which was the fiscal year April to April 2020 to 2021. That was the number. And you'll be shocked to know that the vast majority of those happened in 2020 during the early parts of lockdown. Shocker.
Drug Enforcement Agency. Oh, you're doing a great job.
You do realize when they seize stuff at the border, that means that stuff is seized. That if they're seizing more at the border than ever before, that doesn't mean more is getting through. That means, okay, they're finally getting a grip on where it's coming from. Yeah. It's not that people don't trust the ATF. It's not that people don't trust the FBI. They don't trust the TED.
So, improvise, adapt, and overcome. Think.
Okay, fuck you. You don't get to borrow from the fucking Marines or the Navy SEALs. You know, like fucking, would you watch Heartbreak Ridge? We improvise, overcome, adapt. Just because you're wearing fucking flak, you're wearing like camo, doesn't make you military, asshole. You haven't improvised or overcome or adapted ever.
Raise hell and demand constitutional accountability from your mayor, your chief of police.
All right, seems to be this blather he's laying on thick this episode.
Your sheriff, your state trooper commander, your game warden, your senator, your congressman, your ombudsman.
Ombudsman. I don't know why you're bringing that up other than you think the word sounds funny.
Your governor, your lieutenant governor, and your attorney general. We, the people, have to take this country back because right now,
From what?
Zilla.
Fedzilla. Okay. What do you think? IRS problems? That's what IRS, fear of seizure stuff, hiding funds, hiding drugs and shit, that kind of thing.
Is a criminal. But I have a First Amendment right, and God knows they're probably coming to get me.
Okay. This is one of those things like, okay, you know you got shit on your hard drive and you realize somebody hacked it or some shit, and they're like, uh-oh, I gotta start getting out ahead of this. I gotta say, this sounds like Ted has some like kid diddler footage on his hard drive, and he's worried that there's gonna be a knock at his door, so he's trying to paint them as targeting him. That's usually where you hear this kind of an argument. And what is he afraid it's going to happen before Trump can get in and pardon him for having kid diddler footage?
Good luck. Happy New Year, everybody. Whack 'em and stack 'em, track 'em, pack 'em and hack 'em, give 'em no slack 'em. Have a great deer season that still goes on.
Yeah, okay. This is what Ted does here is kind of like what some of the UFC adjacent guys there is that they borrow toughness. Yeah, they it's kind of like stolen valor, but they borrow toughness from activities. So because he shoots deer from a fucking hideout in a tree near the only watering hole for miles, which is like, is like a serial killer who hangs out near a Burger King drive-thru and goes, aha, I found the perfect victim pool. They cannot escape how strong I am. I'm so powerful. What do? I hide the tree and then I shoot them from very far away while they're sipping water. It sounds really tough. You don't wrestle them to the ground. You don't fucking Rambo them, where you tie your knife to an end of a stick and kill a wild boar and walk down through the forest with the leg over your shoulder. Now you use these giant compound bows, and how many fucking arrows does it take you? But and again, nothing against hunting as that thing. It's just if it's a cock substitute, which it clearly is for him. I'm just saying it won't last long, and it's not very convincing. And it's usually when guys like him get on a hard fade and they start dealing with the fact that they're getting old and less attractive and all that kind of stuff, that their ego makes them cling to like false machismo and stuff. This Let me give you an example. This is like, you ever see a guy at a club with like, who's like 20 years older than everybody there, and he's got like a mustache and his shirt's open and he's wearing whatever hot clothes, you know, were the deal back when he used to go clubbing, right? And you're like, dude, right? That's what this is. I'm like walking around a bunch of butch guys going, I'm butch too, right, guys? Right? Okay, walk a little slower. The ground's very uneven, and my ankle's giving me problems. Wait up. Hey, wait up. That's what he's doing. This is the same thing. This is him dressed like this. This is the same as some dude going, hey, ladies, like curling his mustache in a club going, it's a little loud in here, isn't it? Oh, God, what a dipshit. Like, I don't even hang around in clubs I'm performing in. I know to take it on the heel and toe. I got, especially because, like, my audience, when I'm doing stand-up or something, there'll be a lot of, like, 20-somethings because of lab rats and the timing of that or whatever. And I'm like, good night, kids. Phew. Right? And I look good. Hey, everybody, come see how good I look. Ow. So, no, but in all seriousness, like, beat fucking feet. And that's exactly what he's doing. There are parallels amongst all these things. Yeah. Yeah, hit that sub button. I agree. I even have a little, when I slip over the comms thing. By the way, you know, maybe I was, what a fool believes he sees. You can sing Michael McDonald gibberish to any wave jazz. That's all. I'm just saying. Any wave jazz at all. But maybe I was foolish to think that Trump getting reelected would somehow bring joy to the most miserable man on the internet. And yet, no. Ladies and gentlemen, it should come as no surprise that Greg Kelly will never be happy. Now, Greg Kelly wants to know, where's the 40,000 hours of J6 footage we were promised? Greg, is that your real name? Greg? Gregory? Little Greggy boy? Can I call you Kelly? Kelly? Listen, Kellyanne. Kellyanne Gregory. Listen, it's not coming out. Howie, I'm sorry. My singing, my Getty scares the shit out of cats. I'm sorry if my Michael McDonald does too. Yeah. So, anyways, he goes, where's the 40,000 hours they were promised by Jesus? Because Mike Johnson just got voted back in as speaker. God damn it. Right, Greg? And and he's like, where's the footage he's going to give us? He said it's why everybody says they're going to give us the footage. Okay, you're not going to get it. You know why, dum-dum? It's because every time they release it, more guys are going to jail. Yeah. Thank you. Yes, the real line is wise man has the power. The wise man had the power. But that's not important. It doesn't. Anyways, the more footage you guys release, the more of these dickheads are going to jail. Okay? Their lawyers are going, hey, the Jan 6ers, the ones who are already in jail and the ones who got a deal and committed other crimes that they didn't admit to, all those dum-dums, yeah, their attorneys are calling Johnson's office and the other Republicans going, hey, cut. Dude, you can't release this shit. I'm fucked if you do this. I'm going to lose my goddamn job. I'm going to fucking prison, dummy. I want to say the number's close to 900 that were convicted. There were a bunch of people who were convicted and got a walk, got, time served or got, released on their own recognizance or, got probation and all that kind of stuff. And a bunch of those admitted to a bunch of things. But what if they did other things they didn't admit to, and then you saw video of it, and they're like, oh, new crime. You didn't tell us you did this, and we have footage of it. Bye, fucker. Because here's the thing. If you don't, and this is a thing we're dealing with the incoming president. This should be the lesson learned. If you don't send people to jail for shit, especially when it's big, well, like where so many people saw what happened on January 6th, where it's been viewed and viewed again. If you don't prosecute those crimes, people bringing weapons in, people, trespassing and charging into the place, beating up cops, knocking over barriers, all that kind of stuff. When the next person that goes through goes, hey, why are you throwing me in jail? They didn't go to jail for it. This is political persecution because I'm being prosecuted based on what side of the aisle I'm on, not because of what I did, because you let these motherfuckers go free. Hey, Boston Brian's here. Hey. Hi, Brian. And you're right. Good show yesterday. I only got to watch a bit of it, and I didn't jump into the chat because I didn't want to interfere because I had a lot to say, as per usual. I was a little sad that in your name drop of all the people that you were inspired by and stuff when you were talking to your guest who used to be on TYT that you didn't bring me up, but it's okay. I'll get over it. It's okay. It's not about that. It's not why I do it. No, it's not why I do it. I do it for, because I want to be of service to my community. It's not for the accolades from my friends. All right. Anyways, so let's get on with this, though, if I may. This is, whereas the 40,000 hours, you're never going to get it. Dum-dum is where it comes from.
That in spite of our great challenges and even our disagreements and our healthy debates,
and the fact that I sound exactly like the main witness in in heavy metal, hand over fist, calling Hanover. Well, he never did anything illegal, unless you count all the times he sold dope disguised as a nun. He never did anything immoral, unless you count the preschooler's prostitute ring.
this extraordinary institution.
Honestly, what is the deal? Why can somebody explain to me why Republicans view themselves as macho, but literally everybody they put in positions of power sounds like a complete weenie? Like they all got the locker treatment? Why?
The people's house will still be standing strong. Thank you all so much, and God bless America.
And God bless America, and there are the shapes at sea. Sorry, it's just like, what the fuck? Why is it just, why am I the only one? Stern, why am I the only person who expects that the party of Joe Rogan and fucking all these macho dickheads would have a fucking Speaker of the House? It's like, we're gonna put these bitches in their place. I mean, that's the way you legislate. I mean, shit or get off the pot. If you're gonna walk up to the bell, ring the bell. I want a dude with veins in his neck. Shit, I don't even want him to have a neck. I just want his shoulders to go straight to his jawline. Just a fucking pyramid. I want us to all look at him like we looked at John Travolta's after we hadn't seen him for a while and gone, what the fuck is, what's going on with his head?
All right. Congratulations, Speaker Johnson.
Is he drunk?
Yes.
I guess. What do you mean you guess? You guess on the congratulations or the fact that he's Speaker? He got voted in again.
Look, Trump wanted it.
Look. Trump wanted it, so it must be good.
And we could not have a situation on Monday, which is January 6th, and that's the day that they recertify or certify the election. Couldn't play games.
Certify the actual day. Certify it once. You don't have to recertify it.
Games with that. That said, Speaker Johnson has.
Speaker Johnson, he's fucked up. Greg's fucked up. I mean, maybe they just had a meeting at Newsmax and they're like, guys, come here. Yeah, we really make a lot of money when Democrats are in charge. And now that we're just going to be like a cheerleading section for every turd that flops out of Trump's butthole mouth every day, all day. There's a lot of competition for that. There's RSBN, there's Newsmax, which clearly is, Fox Light. Fox has got it nailed down. They're all gonna, so we're gonna have some cutbacks, which you know what that means, Greg? Yep, you're gonna do your show from the bus.
Been not perfect, who is, but significantly less than perfect. The security camera footage from...
The security camera footage. From a second, when we did that? When are we having? Where's the matter? We promised a thing for us. I don't know how to get it. We didn't get it. Why is it not getting? Why is it not? We promised this thing and I didn't get it. No. Sorry, Barbarino. Vinny Barbarino. Nope, didn't get it. Don't have it to have.
January 6th of 2021. Remember this stuff?
Yeah, we remember it. This is after they beat the cops, you fuckwad.
I got a little glimpse of it on Tucker's show.
Yeah, you mean all that footage that was edited out of order, the vast majority of which came from The Atlantic and from the already released footage that was on the Jan 6 site?
I got a little glimpse of it.
A glimpse?
On this documentary, maybe that documentary, but...
Yeah, this is one of my favorite parts of it. This is where they trick these fuckheads into turning around. Because they're stupid.
Not too much. Especially when the horse guy was being escorted around.
The horse guy. Like Jacob Chansley or whatever his name is.
By Capitol Police. Like he was part of the operation somehow.
Yeah, he's a total. Yeah, he was definitely a Fed. You should go after him next, Greg. I would watch that whole documentary. Greg Kelly Reports special documentary. It's a nice documentary. It's a documentary that I'm doing about the horns guy. Okay. It was my special guest, Larry Kudlow, was going on, and 3 sheets to the wind, Bill O'Reilly. Well, I'm going to do it. No spin zone. Hey, Greg, real quick. They don't want him going through that door, and they don't want him going this way. It's a window. So they want him going this way. So they're just going, hey, man, this way. And then they go because they're stupid. We were very lucky that everybody who took part in this shit to the person was a moron.
Totally bizarre. And it's really frustrating that we have not been granted all 40,000 hours of...
Yeah. What do you think Greg's going to... What's he supposed to watch? Regular TV shows where you gotta like women and people of color and people are hanging out and they show friendships? How am I supposed to watch that? Huh? How am I supposed to watch shows where people become friends? I don't have any. How am I supposed to watch? I need to watch. Yeah. That's what you need, Greg. You know what? And I'm for it. Please release all 40,000 hours to this fuckwad so he can spend the next 10 years going, wait a second, what? Wait a second. Oh, that's nothing. Okay, wait a second. Oh, that guy should definitely go to jail.
This stuff, as Kevin McCarthy promised us. Remember him?
I remember that guy. Yeah, and Matt Gaetz got him broomed so that he, in an attempt to scuttle the ethics investigation.
Remember Kevin? Yeah, Kevin McCarthy.
Remember Kevin? Oh, this is a Kevin thing. I'm Kevin's. Jesus Christ. What is this show? What has it descended into? This is what is... Remember, Kevin, what happened to that guy? I don't even know. Anyways, I guess he's Mike Johnson's speaker again. Who can say? I don't know, but when he was going to give it and we didn't get it, we didn't get it.
I think the American public should actually see all what happened instead of a report that's written for a political basis.
That's right. That would have been nice. And then the guy who took your job said essentially the same thing, that we all...
Yeah, and Trump supported both guys. Both guys.
All needed to see this footage. In a statement, When I ran for Speaker, I promised to make accessible to the American people that 44,000 hours of video from Capitol Hill security taken on January 6, 2021. Truth and transparency are critical. Next, please. Today, we will begin immediately posting video on a public website and move as quickly as possible to add to the website nearly all of the footage, more than 40,000 hours. Well, we're about 40,000 hours shy of that. We have very, very little footage to see.
Gee, wait a minute. Hold on, Greg. Are you telling me that by and large, and specifically the people that Trump supports, the Republican leadership are full of shit? Is that where you're going with this? It seems to be that's like, so everybody Trump supports for the speaker, that person is, I guess that it's part and parcel. It must be, it's got to be on their resume. Completely full of shit, weird way of talking, odd religious behavior, shares a porn app with their adopted kid.
And why is that? I mean,
because the attorneys called all of them and said, knock it off, you're going to get our people thrown in jail. And Republicans, instead of going, sorry, you guys did this. We didn't, Trump said peacefully and patriotically walk down there. What you do when you get there is up to you. But peacefully and patriotically, so they don't see you coming. Don't fire until you see the whites of their eyes. Essentially, but he said that, and so these people went down there and sorry, they got to go to jail. You fuck around and you find out, or play stupid games, win stupid prizes. If these maggots stormed up the steps and beat a cop, and we've got footage of it, tough shit. That needs what? Sorry, what? I what? Oh, he was on my campaign staff. Yeah, kill the footage. We're not releasing. Not releasing that. I don't know, but stir some, do something about the debt ceiling, or threaten to shut down the government so we can all get distracted for a few weeks, so I don't have to hear from these assholes again.
why haven't we seen it?
Why am I going to say this? Why am I going to say this? Why are the Nazis?
What's going on?
What's happening now?
Is he a little bit too protective of the institution? Is he intimidated by the Capitol Police? Again, I'm glad that Speaker Johnson has the job at least through Monday, because the certification of the election is important. I also think it's important to figure out...
At least through Monday. You think they're going to have another vote right away? Just cuz?
This. Who is the little cop? And why is it that we've been the only ones pointing this out? Who is that cop who's aggressively waving people on to the Hill, Capitol Hill, on January 6th? Why were these police officers just standing there as...
hey, asshole, I can tell you. I'll tell you why. I can do it. Hey, hold on. Matter of fact, hold on. Let me see if I can bring up a map, Greg. I'm so glad you asked for this. One second. Okay. Every time I try to move I so tax my computer system that every time I try to move a window, it freezes temporarily, and I have to wait for it to relax, and then I can move it. It's like it's got a fucking Charlie horse every time. Okay, so Capitol grounds, tunnels, U.S. Capitol, something like that. Okay, what is that? Okay, Capitol Hill tunnels. Let's see what this is. I want to see if I can find a map. Scrolling to this thing. Okay. Okay. So where that person was on the south. Hold on. Okay. So just so you know, if I may, this is where the people charged up, where the scaffolding was and all this shit. But there were a bunch of people in the back that charged up in this area. This was the part that was blocked off, and this goes up into the the House and the Senate. Whenever there's a vote, like over here. If you ever hang out, Summer and I have been to D.C. a bunch of times, and a couple of times there were votes on the budget and stuff where everybody has to stay late to get something passed because it's a must pass, so they go through it and blah blah blah. Okay, they come down these steps over here. So while this was all happening, and they were evacuating people through the tunnels, by the way, there were a bunch of these fuckers. Now, there are little rampy things like step out places over here, but they were, basically when they got the House and Senate people out. They ran them down through these tunnels into their buildings, their prospective buildings, okay? And they built up security around these things, hoping that these dumbasses that were gathered around the Capitol wouldn't get wind and basically storm over and kill everybody, right? It's a secure location. It's different if they're all busy attacking here. At least you can, if a few of them make their way over there, you'll be easier to handle. And those were already surrounded by other cops, and they have security there as well, and blah, blah, blah. Okay, so this is where that guy was, that person. I don't know if it was male or female, who was waving people in. Now, all these people were backed up to about here with these barriers out here. And then at one point, they just lowered the barriers and went, yeah, come on up. And these people came up here, and these folks were being directed through hallways out the back towards these doors, where they just pile on out here. So they've been basically being, like Jacob Chansley was being like routed this way and out the back. That's how they came out. Like everybody who charged in this way that they got rid of, if they didn't send them back out the front, they ran them through a couple of dead hallways that they had isolated by locking the doors all along the pathway or barricading them. And so that there was really only, it was like a hamster, or a gerbil maze where they would just run them out this way, and there's like really nowhere to go. Yeah. So they would run them out this way. And then these same folks had been backed up to here. They opened it up, and these people came up and ran up on the steps right about the time that they were getting the House and Senate members out through the 3 tunnels that go out underneath the thing. Now there's a big thing of stairs here. Let's see if they can show it. This is like the history of where they built it. So this is them workmen dig a tunnel between the Library of Congress and the U.S. Capitol. That's that one right there. And then they let's see, 2 satellite office buildings at the turn of the century. The Senate office building on the northern grounds, and the fancier of the two came with a nifty underground perks for benefits of elderly members. The tunnels have been planned with the idea of providing easy access to the offices, particularly in bad weather, so they don't have to walk through the snow or past rioting fuckwads. So they all left through this way. This is what they did. They cleared this area, and then they made sure that everybody didn't know that that's what they were doing, and then they ran them out that way. That's how they did it. They deflected the mob, yes, forward into this area, so that there are also these little pathways. Let's see if I can show you the part where you can go down into the that's what they look like. If you've ever been to the Capitol, there's a way you go in the back that's beyond this little thing that goes down like a flight of stairs, and there's like a little cafe and that kind of stuff. And so to keep people from charging in that way while people were going out through these tunnels past that area, where you could kind of see them where all these were. I mean, most of them there's probably staircases nobody talks about, right? But they go through that way. There is I want to see if there's, hold there, Greg. So right over here, back in this area, there's like a little thing that goes down a flight of stairs. I'm going to see if I can find let's see, Capitol Heavily Secured, U.S. Capitol Excursions, Book Capitol Tours. Let's see, I don't want to call, I wrote on there the tunnel. So, Capitol Grounds, restaurant, gift shop, rear entrance, underground, something like that. I need to find it. Well, I like to find the, U.S. Capitol, and let's see if I can find the images for this. So if you go down, where is it? This is the back, that's the front. That's not ours. That's the Texas Capitol. That's a state capitol, right? U.S. Capitol Grounds. Okay, let's hold on. Back up. U.S. Capitol Grounds, Architect of the Capitol. This is probably okay. Here, let's see if we can. They might have this. Capitol Campus. Okay, there we go. Explore the Capitol Campus. There we go. Here's all the things, and this is the visit the Capitol. It really is lovely. I recommend going. Anyways, let's see more stories. I just need the images. I want to see if there's like Walker Buildings and Grounds. Let's see. Learn more. See if this is in here. U.S. Capitol Building. There we go. Capitol Crypt, Capitol Dome, Capitol Subway System, the Visitor Center. Yeah. So view on map. Let's see if there's like a walkway, where to find it, that kind of stuff. Building the Capitol Visitor Center. This is the, I'll go through here. Okay, they shoot through this. So the Capitol Visitor Center is this lovely rotunda thing. It's underneath the place. Boink, like that. And where are we? They dig this part of it out. So you can see the underground. It goes into this thing. And that's the front part of it. And then the back part of it. Yeah, so this area is this big rotunda area in the back. Okay, technically speaking, because this is, if you want to go sit in the gallery, you go in this entrance in the back, and you go down there, and you can go sit and watch stuff. It comes in this way, okay? And so where are those people that that dipshit is talking about? That's the back, okay? And needless to, oh God, he's going to get into fucking Ashley Babbitt because it was his mischance. His dream woman died. That's why this person's waving them through. So he's clearing these assholes away, moving them towards the building because that's their goal, away from the House and the Senate. Found out how, I think it was right after January 6th. All right, well, I'm welcome. I'm so glad you're here. Oh, wait, hold on. I got to play on this.
People came right on in. Hello.
And again, this is the other thing where, no, they didn't. They beat cops to get where they were. The cops were overwhelmed, and they decided a good policy was to shepherd these dickheads through, appeal to their patriotism, their alleged patriotism in this case, and drive them through hallways that were isolated. Shut these walls, shut these walls, shut these doors, shut these things, and go. So, sorry, somebody is pointing here. Da-da-da. CSL jumping in there, thank you. Oh, yeah, don't forget my, yes. Thank you, Greg. Thanks. Oh, I hit 79,000 subscribers. Look out. Come on, man. Now, so, yeah, so this was when they were all being corralled and herded.
Capital, yes.
Like the brainless cattle that they are.
Here you go, right this way. Totally weird, right?
Nope, not at all weird. Totally smart. And if you want to kill them, it's weird. But if you're trying to de-escalate and drive an overwhelming force of people, but through mental manipulation and the like, then I would argue, then yeah.
And of course, the death of Ashley Babbitt at the hands
of a cop doing their job
of Capitol Hill cop Michael Byrd, just completely and totally indefensible.
No, completely defensible. See the barricaded door right there? You see the broken glass? The proof of violence from the crowd that she was with? No, totally defensible. Even having the gun drawn for a period of time, they knew the gun was out. She might have well as just yelled, "Let's fuck around."
That shooting, as well as the total...
By the way, see the rest of there's still people being cleared in the background.
Lack of curiosity and aggressiveness in holding Officer Byrd accountable. Now,
he was held accountable. They had a shooting review like they always do, and he was cleared. That's accountability. They said, how many bullets did you have? One more than I have now. Okay. Sounds about right. Cheers.
Lieutenant Byrd, he got promoted. Oh, and he got a big fat bonus.
Right, for defending the Capitol against a large group of people. She just happened to be the one that, he had to put a hole in.
Adds up to something like $200,000. Yeah, Michael Byrd and a lot of Republicans up there on Capitol Hill. I'm sorry, Michael Johnson.
Yeah, Mike Johnson, Michael Byrd, doesn't matter. James Byrd, Big Bird, who gives a shit?
A little bit too comfortable with that guy hanging around Congress. I would have...
sorry. Okay. Maybe I'm definitely putting too much thought into this, but maybe, just maybe, what Greg is getting at is that Mike Johnson and Kevin McCarthy haven't released the 40,000 hours of footage because they're afraid this guard will shoot them. That's the only logic I can pry loose from this nonsense.
I want a guy with an itchy trigger finger like that. Something else we've been looking into.
Itchy trigger finger? Dude, he waited till she came through the glass. If he had an itchy trigger finger, those holes in the glass would be his.
Why do those police officers just, and they're their names, They take a coffee break at the critical time.
Sorry, no. They don't take a coffee break at the critical time. They are clearing the final people in the back. They are going to need these guys. That door is barricaded. There is a guy guarding it with a gun for anybody who, and they don't really believe that some dumbass is going to, when they see a guard on the other side of the door, a barricaded door, by the way, is holding a gun out, is going to still come through the glass. They're like, these people can't clearly be this stupid. And these guys are going to get crushed if these people just push up and start banging against these doors. And they need them for other shit. They don't have enough cops and enough guards, and having these guys squeezed into this is a bad idea, so they pull them. Because they're pretty sure that maggots aren't that dumb. Little do they know, hindsight being 2020.
Would you want these cops guarding your township, your village? Because here they go. Well, things are getting a little bit hot. Let's just get out of here. What do you say?
Well, here's the thing. They have they do have an option. They can stay there and let these assholes beat them physically, like they have done to multiple cops to get to where they are, including Ashley Babbitt and this fuckhead in the red hat and all these dipshits around them. They can stand there and, because they're not going to pull their service revolvers, endanger their own lives, and get in a situation where they may have to kill somebody, or they can move, assume the barricade will hold, and move to another position that has more value. Now that they've cleared people out from behind and they're just getting the stragglers, and they figure it's going to be all right.
Let's go away. Yeah.
Also, what? And again, why does shit pop off the minute the cops step out of the way?
There they go. All hell breaks loose, and Ashley Babbitt is about a half minute from getting killed.
Yeah, it takes her 30 seconds from when the cops move away to start beating down the door to go through to try and kill someone. Had a knife in her bag, was with other people who had threatened violence. We're calling for Nancy Pelosi to be hanged. We're going to drag the fucking vice president out and hang him.
At the hands of Michael Byrd. What's up with that? And what's up with these Republicans on Capitol Hill who aren't aggressive in seeing this?
Wait a minute, Greg. What's up with the fact that while you're showing this shit, you don't show the part right before Ashley Babbitt went through the door where she punched the dude she was standing next to? Hold on one second. I'm not going to show the footage of her getting gunned down because fuck that. But I need like a YouTube video of it so I can break it down. Yeah, so hold on one second. Pause. I'm not going to show the whole thing. So this is about the time of that footage. Hold on, let me open this up. And I don't want to show the part where she got shot. That's the gun coming up. Whatever this is. I think that's not the full angle. Let's see. I think they got it curtailed in. Where? Okay, yeah. So they don't. Yeah, this is the same angle. Hold on one second. There's another angle of it that shows what she did right before. This it? Payload looks back at Ashley Babbitt's death. Yeah, this might be it. Hold on. Burn. Where's this? The hard part is showing it without showing the shooting because it's right before. I'll tell you what. I will just leave it to you guys to look at. Video shows. Let's see. Additional video. Da da da. Okay. Da da da. Hold on. Okay, even they cut it out on this one angle. Hold on a second. Yeah, I can't. It cuts right to. She gets shot as soon as she jumps up there, and the footage is not going to show it on there. But go look at it yourself. The Jan 6 footage is out there. But right before she goes through, she hits. I think it's even this guy with the yellow who's in her way. He's in front of her, and the other angle, not this one, which is why he always shows this one, because it doesn't show what happened. It shows this side angle, and it turns and looks at the shoot. It sees the shot, and then it sees her fall, but it doesn't show when she physically gets shot.
And what's up with these Republicans on Capitol Hill?
You mean these Republicans on Capitol Hill, like these guys, these Trump supporters who are Republicans,
aren't aggressive in seeing this stuff out? Look at Mike Johnson here. Look at all the perks of power. Everybody, it's like he's a little prince everywhere.
First of all, why is it a perk of power that everyone is following you around filming you with the iPhones? Hey, man, at least in the 70s, they had giant fucking cameras and it seemed serious. These are just, I mean, this looks like you were just saying a racial slur at work and everybody's trying to get you fired.
He goes, he's got people hanging all over him. You think?
Yeah, I wouldn't call that a perk,
you
weirdo.
could possibly pull some strings to get Michael Byrd off the...
Yeah, I mean, you got all those people filming you with their phones. Can't you make one of them do it? What the fuck?
The police force, or at least put him somewhere else and give him a demotion, not a promotion? Why have...
No, because you would need cause, and you can't prove cause because she fucked around and found out.
Power if you can't use it to get rid of a corrupt cop.
Well, you can, except he's not a corrupt cop. Also, your dad was police commissioner of New York when he made your sexual assault accusation go away, so fucking pound sand.
What's going on up there?
I'll tell you exactly what is going around. She violently assaulted one of her fellow maggots, tried to crawl through a window she had participated in breaking. That cop was literally in charge of making sure no one came through that door as the last line of defense, and first through, first bullet. That's what happened. Period.
The Capitol cops outside...
The Capitol cops?
The Capitol, they seem to have a lot of pull. Are they intimidating the members of Congress?
Yeah, that's what it is. Yeah, the Capitol cops are like, hey, man, next time maggots come to kill you, we might look the other way. What? Yeah, the next time Trump supporters show up here, we might just let them do whatever they... Because they hate you more than anybody. Like, we'll help AOC get the fuck out of here.
I think this is a great question. Most members of Congress didn't serve in uniform, and maybe they, I don't know, have a little bit of a complex about that.
Fuck you. They what?
Uniform, and maybe they, I don't know, have a little bit of a...
Hold on.
Are they intimidating the members of Congress? I think this is a great question. Most members of Congress didn't serve in uniform, and maybe they, I don't know, have a little bit of a complex about that.
Yeah, what? That they're afraid of cops? Wait, this is your argument, that Republicans are afraid of cops because they have a psychological complex about people in uniform and automatically behave?
And after the display during those hearings, what would you have done if you were a member of Congress and this guy shows up and starts yelling at you?
The indifference shown to my colleagues is disgraceful.
I would have said, Fanone, you get the hell out of here.
And yeah, and you would have lost your seat as a Republican member of the House, fuckwad. Sorry, what? Hold on. What? How please don't demean your channel by showing news crap. Oh, is that? Yes. Well, I'm not. I'm just, I'm demeaning them. It's an active choice on my part.
I know that there were no good Republicans on that committee, but something, they let these guys come in and walk all over them. Why is that?
I'll tell you why. Because maggots literally walked all over these guys. They stomped them. He was tased 8 times. They stole his service revolver. So one of the other ones had to keep the person who took his gun from shooting him on the fucking spot. He had a heart attack because he was tased. What are you talking about? Jesus Christ. Oh, God. Greg, buddy, fuck you.
Really, what is going on? Why?
I'll tell you what's going on. The Republicans that were there, even the ones that were in the gallery, were fucking ashamed. And even the Jim Jordans of the world kept their fucking mouth shut around the cops that were assaulted on that day.
Have power if he can't use it to stop a ludicrous situation like this.
Why is that a ludicrous situation? Is he not? He's taken an oath to speak the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth. He's allowed to make an opening statement. It's his freedom of speech. It's his perspective being there on that day. He was physically attacked for just doing his job. I honest to God, if I told you this was like a fucking Jacobin super left-wing anti-cop ACAB site, and you didn't know, if you'd never seen what the fuck this is and whatever, you'd probably assume that the star on there was like a Russian one. Right?
And now this, please. New Orleans and Las Vegas.
Okay, we're going to tie these like, and they're going to do nothing about these guys. They won't even call it terrorism, except for they won't call the brown guy terrorism, but they will call the white guy terrorism because blah, blah, blah.
And the peculiar...
Also, the FBI has dropped the ball on recent New Year's Eve attacks. New Year's Eve not, but whatever.
Rental of cars by two soldiers. One veteran, one active duty soldier. Very strange. Lots of conflicting accounts. And now suddenly, no more conflict. Everybody knows exactly what happened. Not initially.
It's weird that they initially, when something happens, that they get I don't know, they don't get a tip off from the person doing it and a manifesto released to the press before they do it. Nobody knows what the fuck is happening. And then over time, they find out what the fuck is happening.
Of course.
We'll be taking...
Oh, this is the whole thing. Like, oh, they didn't know on day one, but now the black lady knows? Jesus.
...over the investigative lead for this event. This is not a terrorist event. What it is right now is their improvised explosive devices that was found. And we are working on confirming if it's a viable device or not.
The FBI is the lead investigative agency, and we're investigating this as an attack of terrorism, along with...
Yeah, initially, when you don't know if they're connected, you can't treat it as a terrorist event until you get those connecting things. And then when they got the connecting tissue, then that's what it, like, Jesus Christ. How does this asshole think information unfolds? Oh, wait, he's on Newsmax. You just make it up. If you don't know anything about it, you just act like you did from the fucking beginning. But there's a black lady in charge of something, so clearly it's suspect.
With our partners.
And yes, she is very beautiful, Bryce.
Really bizarre. And you got
No, it isn't. No, it isn't. It's only bizarre if your clock goes backwards.
Let that sink in. Not a terrorist event, and then it was an attack of terrorism.
Right. You can't investigate it as more than what you know. This might have been a domestic violence thing. He might have fucking gone down there to run over his ex-wife until you clear who he killed. And it might have been just a mass workplace disgruntled worker situation. The flag wasn't even known until then. And like initially, because it was in the bed of his truck, and when they were clearing stuff later, it didn't survive. It wasn't still sticking up out of the back of the truck when it crashed.
And how many people were involved in this, not an attack, yes, it is an attack of terrorism?
Aggressively running down all of the leads to identify... Oh,
right. They saw 4 coolers that this guy had planted. We now know he planted them himself because he filmed himself doing it. But some people walking along, surprisingly, saw a cooler and went, is there free beer in this? Nope. And just kept walking. And those people... The FBI saw footage of this person near this thing that they later found out had an IED in it, and that person looked in it and didn't get killed. It didn't blow up. So maybe the reason it opened when they looked was because it was triggered. It was, you know, they knew what the secret. You had to twist it once and then lift it and it won't explode to check it. But if you lift it straight up, it'll blow up, that kind of stuff, which is how you would do these kind of devices if you had other people on your team that had to either set them or turn on the fuse or the timer or any of this shit, right? Good Lord. It's weird. Like, I woke up this morning and, like, I didn't know what I'd had for lunch. And then magically after lunchtime, I do. What is going on?
Well, subject's associates, we're working to ensure that there is no further threat. We do not believe that Jabbar was solely responsible. We are aggressively running down every lead, including those of his known associates.
We do not assess at this point that anyone else involved in this attack is involved in this attack except for Shamsuddin Jabbar, the subject you've already been briefed on.
You've heard.
Right. Initially, they saw footage of these people looking in the coolers. They were like, "Are they with him?" We don't know if they were participating in it with him, if they helped, and all that kind of stuff. And we're not gonna act like it was him by himself. Yeah. Hey.
Heard about the discrepancies. They're a big.
They're not. No. Fuck you. They're discrepancies if it's backwards. Right? They go, we have assessed that no one else is helping him. And then later on, we're like, we're running down all of his known associates, right? That would be the hinky part. Like, why would you proclaim that he had no help when you didn't know anything about it and now you're looking for people that might have helped him? In the beginning, you would go, yeah, he may have had help. We see on footage people around these coolers. We don't know if they're with him or they just looked. Once we ran it down, we talked to them. They interviewed everybody. And it turns out those people were with their friends. And their friends are like, we just saw the cooler. He thought there was going to be beer in it. There wasn't any, so he fucked off.
Deal. It suggests that possibly, just possibly, they were.
Fuck you. I know. Whatever he's going to say, it's going to piss me off.
Trying to. Maybe they were making mistakes. Maybe it was innocent. Although maybe the FBI is not being straight with us, right? Where would we have gotten the idea that the FBI would not be upfront with the American people?
From you, fuckwad, based on nothing.
So after those colossal blunders.
Those weren't colossal blunders. They're not blunders at all. That is the natural arc of an investigation. We are pursuing all leads. We are looking into everybody. We don't believe he could have acted alone for this whole thing. Turns out he actually did. He prepped these other sites himself the day before, and we now have footage of him doing it. So we don't think he had any help. He did ultimately do it himself. Why is this weird? Why is this difficult? Jesus.
The FBI.
Apparently, in the chat room, it is everybody believes that Greg sits down to pee. We don't have any evidence about that, but I know where you're going. It's not that he sits down to pee. It's that he can't pee and stand up at the same time because he gets lightheaded and falls against the stall. And then he ends up with his suit covered in piss and he has to do the show again with no pants on. And everybody at Newsmax wrote a letter to the guy who they rent the garage from where they do the show. And they're like, no more. And he's like, fuck you. And they're like, okay, what if he does the show drunk and then it's not our problem?
Did what a lot of federal law enforcement does. They
investigate?
Start laying it heavy, laying it on pretty thick about grief and sympathy. Look, when American citizens die in a terrorist attack, the American people, we feel it. But
Yeah, I can totally tell, dude. You're all in. Sorry, fuck you. His dad was a police commissioner. You think... I'm so moved to just go find footage of cops helping a baby be born on the street or dealing with a gunshot wound or fucking dealing with victims of a mass shooting and all that kind of stuff. And Greg's like, I don't know. I don't buy it. I don't know why you'd even care. You know, they're all like, oh, it's terrible. Victims, blah, blah, blah. Look, we all feel that way, but I don't think so.
I feel like there's something going on here, that.
Jesus Christ.
Federal officials use our sympathy and our concern.
You don't have any sympathy or concern, asshole.
To buy themselves time. They use it as a filler, and they also use it as kind of a little bit of a weapon so we won't ask aggressive questions.
Okay, what's your aggressive question? Why they know more after they investigated than before at the beginning of the investigation? What's your big question?
I first, and most importantly, want to send our deepest condolences to the victims of this horrific attack and their loved ones. Went down to the crime scene last night.
Yeah, I'm just going to tell you. If you went to a crime scene and you're standing there and there's like 10 bodies laying on the ground right afterwards, and there's people just like squashed and people have been shot, 2 cops have been critically injured, then you go from there to the hospital to interview survivors. You're looking at the perpetrator with fucking holes in him, bleeding out, turning, his eyes turning gray right in front of you. You're going to feel it. Sorry. And if, again, Greg's such a shithead.
It's very hard to put into words what it looked like and how difficult it was to see. Again, our thoughts and prayers are with the victims of this tragedy and everyone impacted across the country. They remain at the heart of our investigation.
I get that to a point.
Fuck you, you do not.
When you're letting your emotions get in the way, or at least maybe you're using that as an excuse for...
Hold on. Whoa. I would argue that you are letting smarm get in the way. All right, I'm done with this fucker. I'm so grossed out by this piece of shit. What is... first of all, he's drunk. Second, what is this namby... I don't know. Yeah, you feel something. Just because you saw 12 dead bodies, women and men, people who were just an hour earlier partying, now their fucking legs are twisted and their insides are out and they're bleeding all over the place and they're covered in tarp and you have to go through and you're in charge of measuring the distance from the truck to there and trying to determine who was killed and all of this so they can keep it all straight. So if you do find that people were attached to this guy and even though he died, he had accomplices, that you can charge them and they can't get away with it because you didn't do due diligence on the fucking day. And so you get to stand around fucking dead bodies for 10, 12 fucking hours watching people that they were there with, standing right fucking there on the sidewalk, wailing and crying. And he's like, nah, I kind of get it, but do I really get it? I don't get it. Jesus Christ. Newsmax, fuck is up with you guys? Come get Greg. And get him a hooker that looks like Ashley Babbitt. But because he can't let go. Jesus. And if you can, find one that acts like her too. So at least he can recognize, he's built up this myth in his head. Like, maybe she wasn't all I don't know, great, that she was, good Lord. What an asshole. Now, speaking of assholes, we got a twofer. You're watching Hal Sparks Megaworldwide. Threefer if you don't like me. How you doing? Matt Gaetz actually had the absolute gall to, who I believe that's his online name, the absolute gall. George DeVolder. Yeah, that's Santos. But his real name is DeVolder, so I don't know why people still call him Santos. Media focuses on makeup, not what matters. George Santos gives Matt Gaetz a makeup tutorial and suggestions on where to shop for cosmetics because the night before his eyes were very white underneath it or something, and it becomes a joke to them or something. This is really short. So it's Matt Gaetz, Makeup Gaetz on the Matt Gaetz Show on Matt Gaetz Show where Matt Gaetz is Matt Gaetzing.
George, what was going on with my makeup? Help me. Give me advice.
Matt Gaetz, let me tell you something.
It's so cute. It's so funny. And everybody's just like, you know what? It's just a joke between us. By the way, as two guys who got kicked out of Congress for being absolutely the skeeviest assholes that place has seen since Dennis fucking Hastert, by God, I think we're a sitcom waiting to happen.
Highlighter is not for you. Stop highlighting the center of your face. It makes your eye very small, and it gives you the glow.
No, genetics do that.
So not the glow you think it gives you,
But I have deep-set eyes, George. How do I fix the deep-set eyes?
Look at the flawlessness in my skin. No highlighter needed. You're a Florida man. I'm in Florida right now. When you're tan and you're a Florida man, you don't need that level of highlighter. Here's my honest advice for you, Gaetz. Here's what you need to do, Matt.
Go to jail. Is that the advice? Go, just check yourself into the nearest jail.
You need to go buy yourself Double Wear Foundation from Estee Lauder. Ambassador Ron Lauder would love to see that we're advertising his product, but it's definitely the best thing for us who do TV so that we look normal and we don't look...
Psst. Neither of you look normal.
Like, I'm sorry. I really did. I was concerned when I saw the images. I thought you had botched Botox or something.
So for all our viewers...
Oh, that's it. I thought you had botched Botox. And also, I like, there's an ad on the rest of this and whatever. They only give them, the whole thing's a minute, 24 seconds, and only a minute of it is actual, not even 53 seconds. That's all they give. That's how much of a clip you can get out of this whole segment. 1 minute was salvageable, and it did not include Gaetz's answer. What a wreck. By the way, hit the like, share the show, etc., etc. Patreon.com/HalSparks. It's infotainmentwars.com. Subscribe. How many times do I have to tell you? Just subscribe. It's no skin off your nose. Just do it. All right. One last. Yeah. Okay. You guys can be so mad at me. Obviously, there's some. All right. I don't know what the shit is happening with this business. That I know you guys are going to get annoyed that I bring this up, but this just made me laugh. Is it Glenn Beck? How government and legacy media control what we think. Speak for your fucking self. Now, this is blissfully short compared to his other clips, so hang in there.
I want to begin with this little disclaimer. This is not a
I don't know what I'm talking about.
Rant about capitalism. I'm the biggest advocate for capitalism, real capitalism that you'll find. This isn't even a critique of crony capitalism, although.
Yeah, why would you ever do that? And obviously, well, I guess, so you don't like Elon Musk is what you're saying. So like anybody with like big federal contracts is your problem.
Well, that needs to be discussed as we progress further, looking into the deep state, big pharma, big food, military, industrial complex, and everything else plaguing our.
Yeah, you don't actually think Doge is going to cut into any of that toy box, do you?
Country right now. This is an analysis on control.
Well, get out the whips and chains.
What our enemies are using against us to.
Oh yeah, right. This must be about how they weaponize your stupidity and your gullibility and your, I don't know, uncontrollable desire to eat a giant Oreo shake from Sonic 3 times a day.
Control what we think, the causes that we support, the way we plan for our retirement, the way we feed our families or heat our homes, on and on. The death of free will.
Oh, I'm sorry. So let me get this straight. I'm supposed to believe that everything the news says, even when it contradicts itself, I just follow like a fucking cat with a laser pointer. And the reason I should believe that that's true is because you fucking say it. So big channel bad because small channel says so. Even though this is your business and you have the same kind of phony desk set up, at least I have the decency to be in a pretend spaceship. So nobody mistakes me for a wannabe newsman. Look, I have a desk and it looks like a real desk. Get the fuck out of here.
For example, before I get back to Chomsky and his book, here's a little George Orwell from 1984. Quote,
oh, fuck this. Stop citing Orwell. At least cite Brazil, for fuck's sake.
Quote, films, football, beer, and above all, gambling filled up the horizon of their minds. To keep them in control was not difficult.
Jesus, are you talking about maggots? Like saying any of those things are wrong or bad is fighting words.
Just change, still.
No. Just change what? Change fucking nothing, dummy. That's what it says.
Films, Netflix, football, yep, beer, booze, drugs, whatever.
Yeah, beer, booze, drugs, whatever. Yeah, Adderall? No, of course not. Whatever that.
Gambling, the internet filled up.
Yeah, basically the internet is gambling. I would agree. Yeah, you're just like doom scrolling, like jackpot.
Up the horizon of their minds. That's what's happening. Now, Orwell wrote this long before.
Then if it is, you're part of that, stupid.
George Floyd and the birth of modern corporate activism. He had no idea about organizations like the World Economic Forum or ESG. Orwell was talking ultimately about the
rise of communism and the authoritarian nature of Stalinist governments that were taking over at the time, which we do not have.
Dangers of consumerism, which...
Right, because he looked down on people who were not well read. He was a writer who specifically viewed himself as part of a higher class because of his consumption of literary materials, and he viewed a bunch of people who didn't buy and read books as fucking assholes who just watch football.
Goes back to the Wilson administration. And Edward Bernays said,
"Don't get saucy with me, Bernays."
The problem with this country is we have a group of
whatever. Just we got a group of them, whatever they are. I don't know. Might have a group of I don't know. bag of rats, some gnats. We got a group of murder of crows. What do we have?
People that have that pay attention to their needs.
Who does that?
We need to change them into people of wants, and they did. Consumerism. Now,
you do realize that is the essence of Reaganomics, the essence of Trumpism. I mean, he didn't write his book; he just sold it. That book was for consumer consumption. He failed at it, but he had a fucking casino, dummy.
How consumerism provides a distraction to what's really is going on.
To what really is going on is
really important.
It is. It's so important. It's so important. Like I've said this a bunch of times. You guys know this. I'm on about this all the time. It's so important.
If an authoritarian government holds the reins.
Yeah. By the way, I would like to be clear what he's saying here. It is better for people in power if the people are more concerned about meeting their basic needs than moving past the basic needs part to their wants. You need to be able to get your needs taken care of so that you can go after the things you want. They want you to stay needy. Glenn Beck needs you to stay in need and out of want. Does that make sense? What a terrible thing that people are going after what they want because they've got their needs met. Who let that happen?
Of the corporate elite, like in the 21st century
like Elon Musk?
Fascism, then we become slaves unknowingly to their entire agenda.
No, we don't. No, we don't. Stop it. No. I'm not a slave to my wants. Those are things I want. If I want something else or something comes along better, I'll want that instead. Piss off. They're not in league together. Believe me. Elon Musk isn't happy if people hop off of X and go to Blue Sky because at least they're on a social media thing chasing their thing. No, he specifically wants them on his site.
That's where we've been. Tuesday, we woke up. Now,
did we? I thought I slept through Tuesday. No, I had a show. Yeah.
Now, there's no question about it. After the spread of ESG and DEI and the woke agenda,
right, and GTFOOH.
Corporations are in bed with the government.
What are they doing?
They call them public-private partners.
Yeah. That's because, they can't just say marriage because people object.
Okay, that's the literal definition of fascism.
No, it's not. It's literally not. Public-private partnerships are not the literal definition of fascism by any measure.
Making good products really becomes secondary. Making money, well, that comes down to whether they toe the government line. If you will say the right things, of course, you'll make money. Banks will give you loans.
Sorry, I thought, wasn't there a go woke, go broke meme going around?
Orwell's nightmare, as far as control is concerned.
Oh, God, I got to tell you guys, I'm so fucking tired of them hammering this shit out of 1984 every fucking time. Maybe it's just them trying to avoid talking about Animal Farm at this point. A little too close to home.
Is now our reality.
No, it's not. No, it is not. If it was, you wouldn't be speaking, shithead. Or you'd be a part of it. This goes to like the Alex Jones thing. What the fuck are you talking about? If we were in 1984 and the system controlled every word that was said, and if you veered out, they'd punish you and all the shit that happened in 1984 when we were, quote, literally there, this asshole would either be in prison or your only conclusion would be he's part of the messaging. He's literally like a member of the political elite and their messaging machine. This is just like communist China. Like, you can't even speak freely. Don't forget to like and subscribe. Shut the fuck up.
Just imagine the power this provides.
Gibberish.
Imagine the money.
I'm imagining the money. Oh, money. I love money and love to rub it and kiss it. Actually, I don't. I just like the shit you can get with it because I have stuff to do. And I'm like, I'm here and I need to get over there. I need money to buy a plane ticket because I don't want to carry around a fucking plane under my arm in case I need to get somewhere all the time. And I might be hungry later, but I don't want to walk around with a sandwich. So I'd rather carry the money around and then turn that into a sandwich later. It's just more practical. Unless you know of a good wallet that can keep a sandwich fresh.
This is why Donald Trump and anyone who works with him is in danger.
Well, I mean, especially if they're downwind from him, I think. Is that your concern? That he might, I'm fairly certain that he's definitely going to, you know what I mean? Like everybody. Maybe if they just wore gas masks or... Right.
When you look at all the consumer brands.
All of them? This is going to be exhausting. Hold on one second. I tipped over my beverage. This is a professional show. Fuck you.
Do you know how many companies own?
Fuck a pop quiz.
Over 550 consumer brands.
How many companies own over 550 consumer brands? 4? 6. And by the way, he considers like all the different versions of like Cheetos, like, or Doritos, like Cool Ranch, Nacho Cheese. These are separate brands that they operate. There's Mountain Dew and Sprite and Coke and all the, okay.
The number is 12.
Oh, I know, shit. It's almost 3 times what I thought it was. It's wonderful.
Look at this graphic. There is not anything that we don't consume, buy, use that doesn't trace back to just a handful of corporations.
Sure there is. Anything that isn't a broader brand. Also, just because they're like Trader Joe's, just because they put their brand on like raw almonds doesn't make them Trader Joe's almonds. And any of these group that sell raw almonds can buy from the same fucking farm. It's just the can they put them in. Who gives a shit?
12. But again, this isn't an anti-corporation rant. But
it seems like it. I mean, but of course it isn't.
By all means, make money. Grow your companies. Grow. Do what you have to do.
Sure. Do what you have to do. Form alliances with the government and corral people in and control their minds and make sure that they can't think about anything else and that they are slave to their wants. Go ahead. What? Why? Wait, you were a second ago. That was the collapse of civilization. And now you're like, yeah, but I mean, it sounds like fun. It's good. It's a nice living if you can make it.
But the orange man cometh. Okay?
Okay. No.
He's got a plan for you.
Does he? Oh, yeah. Yes. Donald Trump is going to shut down corporations. He's going to break up monopolies. If this fucker is going to float the idea that Trump is going to be an anti-monopoly president.
Now, I want to talk to you.
I want you to explain what the fuck you're talking about.
Ownership here.
Oh, right. He owns you. You rent your underwear. Right. Sure.
When the unholy alliance between government takes place with government and capitalism or corporations,
which are one is a economic ideal. It's based on kind of mid-century concepts, and what he means by capitalism largely is resource capitalism, which is only 60% and not less than 60% of our actual economy these days, compared to like 80% of it 100 years ago. And by a corporation, that could be anything from a C or an S corp or an LLC, all the way up through a major conglomerate. But what's the difference? What's the difference between a mom and pop store that incorporates and turns themselves into a C corp or an S corp, and and fucking Walmart? They're basically the same. It's an even playing field, right, Glenn?
That's where we have a problem. How many of these companies have?
You mean like Tesla? You mean like SpaceX? You mean like XAI?
To openly endorse and embrace DEI, ESG, and all the other whacked out progressive crusades over the past decade.
The ones with shareholders that care?
Almost all of them.
Right. And look how well they're doing, because a lot of people felt more comfortable investing in those companies because they weren't seen as some sort of like white supremacist oligarchy.
This same exact model is what has happened to the American propaganda complex.
Yikes. Jesus Christ. Dude, I thought that was a beard. It turns out it's Taibbi's jizz. What are you talking about?
Mainstream media. Let me switch back to Noam Chomsky here.
Oh, God. The fucking fact that he is citing Chomsky. Look at these assholes.
Is manufacturing consent. This is Chomsky back in the 80s on how the legacy media controls the public.
Yeah, and now you're all in on this nonsense?
Watch.
Now, the elite media are the sort of the agenda-setting media. That means the New York Times, the Washington Post, the major television channels, and so on. They set the general...
The major ones, not Fox. They're a little upstart. They're not part of the problem. They're part of the solution. Right, Noam?
Framework. Local media more or less adapt to their structure. And they do this in all sorts of ways, by selection of topics, by distribution of concerns, by emphasis and framing of issues, by filtering of information.
Also, what the fuck is this like background noise? This is so goddamn 80s.
By bounding of debate within...
By the way, all things necessary if you're just going to organize and put together a show with, of national news. Of course you're going to go, yes, that, not that.
Certain limits.
Also, what is this whole? I gotta say, we're talking about propaganda, right? We're gonna from Noam's point of view, and I'm not a fan, by the way. I prefer Howard Zinn to him, and I even have problems with Howard. Both of them were flacks for, basically like viewed themselves as so anti-capitalist in their ideas that they were essentially just attacking every possible point of view of the United States while living safely under its warm blanket. It's just so weird. It's like Thoreau, writing all of his, shit about all men live lives of quiet desperation, written from the warm side of a bay window looking out over a frozen lake. It's like, get out of here. But look at all these shots of them like, this is a TV show. And Glenn looking on, this is important, because look at what you're actually seeing. Glenn is sitting with his little fake fucking desk where he's pretending to have a newsroom TV desk from the fucking 80s. Right? He's branded himself after what news is supposed to look like. With the new, like old news shows back then. And they're like, look at this guy sitting there with a suit, putting a tie on, and sitting down in front of a camera.
45 seconds. They determine determine, they select.
Again, this idea that, like, because they have a script and because they organize the nightly news, or because he's looking at his notes, or they're dealing with a particular story, that it's somehow that qualifies it as propaganda or some shit. It's just lame. If it is, it is. Make a point. I would argue that, like, around the Iraq War, there was a bunch of people kind of lining up with the talking points, or being, more gullible or less critical than they absolutely should have at a baseline. Super easy. But the idea that this is just like all the news is just this big organized fucking Pentaverate Illuminati gig to like control our minds. It's just so fucking lame, especially when most Americans are checked out of politics and the news. You walk around and ask them half of what's going on, like they're like, I don't know, I didn't see that. Like, the idea that if it's a control matrix, it sucks. It's terrible. It's not good at what it does.
They shape, they control, they restrict in order to serve the interests of dominant elite groups in society.
And you could argue that by writing the books that he does and speaking to the groups that he does and working on college campuses, that Chomsky's entire methodology was to determine, select, shape, control, and restrict and serve the interests of dominant minority groups, ideological minority groups, not religious or racial, that he's aligned with. Does that make sense? Yeah. Okay.
Society.
Did you notice years ago we used to complain about gas prices once the media was on it? But if it was a Democrat in office and the media wouldn't rail about it, was this last.
What the fuck are you? What? Jimmy Carter just died. Shut the fuck up.
Last time, nobody was talking about high gas prices except in small little circles.
Are you shitting me? When Jesus Christ. Nobody talks about high gas prices except in small little circles?
Because the elites.
Fuck you.
In society.
The elites. Get the fuck out of here. Look, if there were elites in society like the ones you're talking about, you'd be a dead man. You wouldn't even have a show. They wouldn't let you. If they have control like you say they have control, you wouldn't. Your internet would be shut down all the fucking time. What the hell? Nobody was talking about gas prices. Fucking hell.
The demographic that Chomsky identified as the ones that control the country weren't talking about it. And now it's only a subsection of progressives and Kamala Harris that is gaining ground with the progressives and the Kamala Harris voters. The media selects the topics to be covered. They gatekeep. They set the agenda. That agenda is all but hand-delivered to them by the same elites within Washington, D.C.
Okay, so what stories are they not covering that they should cover on the nightly news that they're missing? Because all I've seen this dickhead talk about this entire segment is Orange Man cometh for CNN and he's going to attack them, and that they're not covering what they should be covering, which is what? Black crime? That's where he's going to go, isn't it? That's what he's going to do. He's just going to go with blacks do the criming. That's what is that what you want, Glenn? Is that what you think? That you think they're not paying attention?
And the corporate public-private partnership.
So Boeing has a contract because they make airplanes to make Air Force One. So therefore CNN gets talking points from elites I was even going to say in the White House, but apparently they don't even have to be there.
Great example of this is a few days before the election. The New York Times targeted conservatives and independent media that broadcast on YouTube. Why? Why were they hand-delivered the talking points by Clinton and Democratic operatives at Media Matters?
Or why did they just notice then? Why didn't they notice sooner?
The elite in government and business set the agenda.
Really? Do you have a memo from them going, hey, go after fucking Tim Pool? It might turn out later that he's getting money from the fucking Russians, which we sort of suspect, but you don't even have to check. Just go after him.
Their propagandists in the media churn it out like it's a little demonic factory.
Churn it out. The ideas are part of the demon factory? Or motherfucker.
Just little demons working, printing this stuff all the time. Chomsky called this And then it was followed like a Hollywood movie script. Tell me this isn't planned.
Jesus. It's not planned. You're welcome. The weird part is, like, Chomsky said this in the 80s, and the reason why Republicans consider the media to be liberal is because they bent more towards Chomsky's criticisms, ultimately, than they did at just following whatever agenda he thinks exists. That's why it's so fucking weird, because to Chomsky back in the day, at least if you followed what he allegedly believed, DEI and ESG and all these things that would, make corporate governance more equitable and more, socially relevant and valuable in their governance of how they're run, the racial diversity of their boards, those kind of things, seemed to be that, like, stuff that Chomsky would believe in. And so if the news was following what Chomsky said or drifted in his direction, started following his lead in these areas, and I would argue that they did after that book, then it's the exact opposite. There isn't an elite. So if anything, Chomsky would be one of those elites. Wasn't he an MIT professor of linguistics who didn't speak another language? Which always bugged me. Yeah, his work includes the concept of universal grammar, the Chomsky hierarchy, and the idea that language development is based on an innate structure of the mind and brain. He thinks that humans were built not just to speak, but to speak in specific order, which is fucking dumb. Which is why he also got known more for his political activism than his actual theories on language as a linguistic professor. So boring. Yeah, so the press heard Chomsky's criticisms and followed them. They bought into it. If anything, if he was arguing that propaganda drives want and need the way Glenn Beck was making the case, then Chomsky was a successful propagandist for his ideas. And he was able to control elements of the media by making them afraid to appear as if they were being controlled by elites. And what was effectively happening is that Glenn Beck wants the media now to look at, he wants to do the same thing to the media that Chomsky did. Accuse them of following the elites so that they automatically give his argument, more say than it has earned. No, he's not, Lucius, he's not blaming Chomsky. He's trying to borrow what he sees as Chomsky's propaganda system. Noam Chomsky was friends with Jeffrey Epstein too. Yeah, he was a friend of his. I don't know if he got the massages acumen. I don't know that's, you might be thinking of Dershowitz, but Chomsky was unrepentant in his friendship of Epstein, which is probably why Glenn Beck is trying to rehabilitate his image. Right? It sounds to me like all of a sudden Glenn Beck is coming to the rescue of Noam Chomsky's. Hold on. So Glenn Beck all of a sudden is coming to the rescue of Chomsky's legacy. Right? Yeah, Chomsky allegedly played in the kiddie pool. That's the allegation. But at the very least, he was unrepentant in his friendship with Epstein, and basically, what was his statement on it was even more fucked up. Hold on. Chomsky on Epstein friendship. It was this weird, it was such a none ya business thing, literally. Yeah. Renowned academic Noam Chomsky told the Wall Street Journal that his meetings with Jeffrey Epstein were none of your business. When asked about the connections with Jeffrey Epstein, many business leaders and bureaucrats offer tight-lipped regrets and apologies. Not Noam Chomsky. The Wall Street Journal, in an exclusive published Sunday, said it had obtained Epstein's private calendar, which outlined numerous meetings with high-profile people, including Chomsky, the famed academic and political activist. When the Journal reached out to Chomsky for comment, the linguist had some choice words. First response is that it is none of your business or anyone's. Second is that I knew him and we met occasionally. On what occasions would that be? Wouldn't the occasion matter? You know what I mean? If it was an awards show and the dude showed up at this thing and you were just there at the same time, or he knew people at MIT, so every time they had an alumni meeting, this fucker would show up, right? That seems reasonable. You're like, I ran into him occasionally because he showed up at these events. That's easy to ditch. So what occasions? Yeah, Epstein moved around money for Noam Chomsky and helped him avoid taxes. This is part of it. And helped him, hide some investments, effectively. In exchange for God knows what. They met at Bill Barr's school? Probably. Yeah, it's not hard. Fuck Jeffrey Epstein. Fuck Ghislaine Maxwell. I hope she rots in hell. I hope he's rotting in hell and she rots in jail and then rots in hell. Not difficult. And maybe there needs to be a lesson in how to deal with this. No one is on the hook for someone that they know socially or even in business over time who turns out to be the fucking BTK killer if you had no idea. And when they do, it's super easy. Like, look, I never saw any of that or I'd have called somebody. And if what they're saying is true, fuck that guy. If it's not true, I hope they can eliminate him quickly and go after the real perpetrator. Does that seem difficult to anyone? Especially for a linguist. Sorry, Noam Chomsky's a linguist, a master of language, ladies and gentlemen. And the best he can come up with when the Wall Street Journal asks him about why and how often he hung out with Jeffrey Epstein because they have records of it, his answer is none of your business. Like he's hanging out in front of a Circle K with a beer in his hand. Who wants to know? Jesus. And again, if that's your answer, and that you have a comfort level with that being your answer, I'm going to attach that to everything else. And I don't have to sync my beliefs if you believe in some of them. Let's say we share an idea, or at least I think you do, right? Let's say you went to BTK's church where he was a deacon. Are you on the hook because you share the same church as this guy? He came in the same building as you all the time, pretending to be a Christian while you were really being a Christian. Are you on the hook for this fucking guy? Of course not. Do you have to deny everything you believe about what you're saying because this guy allegedly believed those things and it turns out he was lying? No. Cut bait. I will never understand that part of it. Look at fucking Ashton and fucking Danny Masterson, right? It ain't hard. And if somebody, if what they're being accused of is really out of character, you can say that. You can go, I never saw anything like that. If I had, I would obviously reported it. I don't know him to be that kind of a person. That's more of a defense of you than it is of them. But once they get convicted in fucking court, and you're like, hey, go easy on this guy, because he always seemed nice to me. I mean, I do realize he was found guilty of 2 counts of rape and abuse and all this other shit in the court of law. But he was such a bro. No. And the defense of like, well, we never thought our letter to the judge, for leniency would be made public. What? No. No. You either stand by what you wrote or you shut the fuck up. And if you wrote something like that, then you either believe it or you're in it with him. Right? Why would you write it if you didn't believe it? Mr. Diddy Party. Well, that may be the issue, isn't it? Why is it that these motherfuckers... And you think I'm going to care less about the rights of workers and people because Noam Chomsky talked about some of these things and then turned out to be a fuckhead and a liar and a bigot? And, right? Do you think I have to cash in my ideals because he allegedly believed them? See what I mean? My ethics aren't on the hook for people who pretend they have those ethics, no matter how much they become aligned with them. Eek. Hold on, let me see. I've got it. Yeah, in case you don't know, where is it?
Ashton Kutcher and Mila Kunis, they're under fire after writing character references for Danny Masterson, who was sentenced last week to 30 years for raping 2 women. The couple is now apologizing. Zareen Shah has the story. Good morning, Zareen.
Hold on.
Growing from the Apollo Kutcher
to us, the person that they
of raping 2 women in the early 2000s.
And his family reached out to us and they asked us to write character letters to represent the person that we knew for 25 years. So that the judge could take that into full consideration relative to the sentencing.
Again, here's what you know. Here's what you know at this point. What's the video? What's the content of the letter? Here's what you know now. That he was a liar and a violent sexual assaulter of women. And you didn't see that, so he was good at hiding that from you. Right? That's your reality. Not like he's always seemed like a good guy. Because you have to weigh that with he always seemed like a good guy who was doing this awful thing and this awful thing and this awful thing and this awful thing. And he was found guilty of those awful things. And so therefore, your reality is that you bought into his bullshit. Yes, like a KGB sleeper. That's exactly right. They seem so American. This fucking asshole. Hold on.
The letters were not written to question the legitimacy of the judicial system or the validity of the jury's ruling.
They're using they're using a teleprompter for the statement too.
Married couple worked with Masterson for nearly a year on the net, part of more than 50. Kutcher writing that Masterson is a role model, adding he does not believe he's an ongoing harm to society.
And well, that's largely because women aren't a valuable part of society, I guess.
Mila writing Masterson is...
For the record, I've been in a movie with both of these people. I had one scene with Mila Kunis in a Mike Judge film, and I did Dude, Where's My Car? Obviously, I barely worked with Ashton. Most of my scenes were with other people. I had like 2 scenes, I think, with him. And to be completely frank, he seemed kind of douchey, kind of loud and full of himself, and was trying to like take over the reins of directing from Danny Liner and thought it was his film. And he very well may have been right in feeling that because, Philip Stark wrote it and he's a funny writer and he wrote for that 70s show, right? And I did an improv scene. Nick Thune and I did a scene together in Extract, and Mila Kunis comes in and basically robs us. And they didn't quite know where the film was going to, where that scene was going to be in the film, and he really liked it, so he opened the movie with it. But we just improvised our way through it. Nick was great, and that was a really fun day. And she just came in and she had her lines written, and she would do them, whatever. There was no play back and forth, and we just had to fill in the gaps past her lines. So she had 4 lines. Were you punked? No, I was not. Although during, if I may, well, let's see what the rest she says. Okay.
Is an outstanding older brother figure who demonstrates grace and empathy in every situation.
Oh, God damn. No.
Their words sparking massive backlash online.
Gee, I can't imagine why. Must have been that whole every situation part. And role model?
We support victims.
Not in every situation.
We have done this historically through our work and will continue to do so.
Historically, quick tip, everybody. If you're doing an apology video, don't talk about your life and your work as historic. It's not a good look.
In the future.
The two are involved in several philanthropic efforts, including an organization that Ashton co-founded to combat sex trafficking.
Oh, the irony. Gee, it's almost like Dennis Hastert getting put on the missing and exploited children, or no, it wasn't him, it was Mark Foley, getting put on the missing and exploited children committee, and then, fucking messaging 11-year-old boys that were working as pages.
Jane Doe 1, who tearfully read her own victim impact statement aloud in court before Masterson's sentencing, reacting to their apology, telling ABC News, "This video was incredibly, insanely insulting, hurtful, especially Ashton, who claims to work with victims of sex crimes with the nonprofit Thorn Foundation."
Also, real quick, if I may, Thorn Foundation? Thorn. Okay, I have, back in the day, as a huge fan of Tori Amos, given money to and supported RAINN. Just in case you don't know, this is, hold on, let me see. Open this up. RAINN is the Rape and Incest National Network, okay? And if you're looking for a charity to support, they're a good one. Good people. And as somebody who had a massive crush on Tori Amos in the 90s, especially, collected I have all of her B-sides and stuff like that. Love her music. Love her artistry. It's fantastic overall. She worked with RAINN. RAINN is a great name for an organization. It makes sense with Rape and Incest National Network. If you've ever heard her song Me and a Gun, which is a cappella and is brutal, just about the time she was sexually assaulted, and she has done amazing work for and around them and for women's rights and all this stuff. And so, just great, okay? Meanwhile, if I may, here's what I think of when you say Thorn. This fucking kid. Damien Thorn. There's a better picture of him. Yeah. It's fucking Satan's last name. They're the spawn of Satan, the kid. In The Omen. His last name is Thorn. Yes, Tori Amos is the real deal. That's right. Who else immediately, chat room, who else immediately, when you heard it called the Thorn Foundation, immediately thought of Damien Thorn? Right? Just shit. What the hell? And I don't get it. I really don't. And hey, maybe that's why my parts weren't bigger in some of these things. I don't know. Maybe I'm just not a team player when it comes to that shit. I never got invited to a Diddy party for a good reason. Because if I was there and there was a cement block nearby, it would have gotten real ugly. So, and the thing about, so I did, let's see. So I did a show for VH1 called Pop Shot that I created that was pilfered. And the final segment of the show, it was like covering, what was breaking in a comedic way using sketches and other stuff in what was in like different sectors, like media, like celebrity. Like it was just like Talk Soup, mostly sketches, but 1 hour we covered all these different areas. And they took the one part about the internet and they made it a single show and stole the idea. And anyways, grumble. But I shared my office space that they gave me to do the show was at VH1's headquarters in Santa Monica, right? And right across from, let's see, hold on. Hold on. See if this is in here. Yeah, where are we? Yeah, it's just some of these just stories of me telling them about them. But the important thing, though, is that I did this sketch, and the idea behind it was, all breaking up these different parts. And our offices shared the VH1 thing, and right across from our office was the Punk'd offices. They used the other half of the building, and 2/3 of the building was empty at VH1. Like they owned this big building. There's almost nobody fucking there, and so their office was in the kind of corner area, which had the more closed off office with the doors. And we got a couple of closed offices, but mostly the bullpen kind of office space for our writers and workers. And I didn't give a shit because it was really fun to have an office. I didn't really have one ever before. Even at Talk Soup, I had a fucking cubicle. Didn't have an office at Talk Soup. Didn't have my own room. Had a cubicle. It was good times. Good old E. Anyways, so that's where I met like Ashton's producer. I never really saw him around, but I met, and this is after Dude, Where's My Car? But his producer, who was there working a lot, was, again, he and Greg Gutfeld's producer on Red Eye are the two most genuinely miserable assholes I have ever met in my life. Just mean, pissy, cruel, gross, nihilistic bastards. Super odd. Just super fucking odd. Yeah. So, does Spaghetti Cat get in the office? I don't know. Let's see. And by the way, that show Pop Shot only became but it was just a pilot. Like it never went, unfortunately. Oh shit! Wait. Okay. So hold on. Here's something. This will show you the time of it. Here's a clip from it. This is called Pop Shot Investigates the Star Wars Kid. This is a clip we did, and I did. Wait till I show you this, and then I'll show you something.
Okay, check out this media trend. A 15-year-old kid videotaped himself spazzing out with a golf ball retriever, and some other kids found the tape and uploaded it to the internet. What should have been an embarrassing secret has turned into the coolest internet trick since, boner, snot, boner. Right. After they uploaded it, somebody added special effects to the video, and he became the Star Wars Kid.
And so, so there was a question about whether we could use their footage. So we recreated it with my buddy Chris Bono. That's Chris.
He is now a media superstar at.
By the way, at JediMaster.net. Now, that was that's me right there. And I think I've aged pretty well. I'm not as skinny as I was, but in a good way. And my voice is deeper. But that said, that was my buddy Chris doing that part of it. All the graphics, all the lightsaber itself, I hand drew all of that in Photoshop, one cell at a time. That was cell animation, ladies and gentlemen, done by yours truly for this. I know it's also higher pitched than my voice wasn't that high, I hope.
At JediMaster.net with over 12 million loyal fans. Wait, you know who I think should jump on that bandwagon?
Star Wars Kid Rock. So there you go. So that was, yeah. My voice sounded deeper back then. Fuck off. So anyways, all that artwork, all that fucking, this stuff, like I hand drew, and you had to, back then you had to like, basically create a white solid on all these at the angle that it was going, and then you had to make it glow, and then the lasers would come in, and you would do the same thing, and you would literally like frame by frame, you would click through this thing. And I like how it starts because I yanked my crotch. I was very proud of that fact. I started by, watch again. I mean, come on. Come on. All right, okay. Yeah, this is what I was doing in the VH1 studios when I had an office right across from Ashton Kutcher's asshole farm. And yes, that was Tommy Lee. So the idea, they were buddies at the time, and they were both fucking Pam was the idea. That was the story. And so that's why he hit, like, instead of the remotes in Star Wars, I had I flew in the heads of Tommy Lee for that part of it. It's the other thing. So let's watch that one. Come on. This was 17 years ago. And that's me voicing Tommy Lee like he's Butthead. Right. And Chris, by the way, Chris Bono did a great job. So you ever see the real Star Wars kid, Chris fucking nails it. Like he treated this like it was goddamn choreography. You know what? I'm going to put director Pop Shot Films on my fucking resume. God damn it. So there's a real crucial part where you hit the wall and then the floor and then do that. So that happened in the real video. So we both recreated it as our characters. We took this very seriously. And that's a move that the real guy did. He went up and down and up and down. It's really funny to watch. But Chris fucking nailed it. Way to go, Chris. I'm just saying, Chris Bono, hilarious physical comedy. And he keeps his leg up for some reason. We never could figure out why, but that's what that guy did. And then he walks towards the camera. So the whole thing was he points it towards it. He starts walking towards the camera at the end of his video. And so when you recreate it, then that's why you do the whole thing. And you go here, and you spin around, and then hit the wall, the floor, and then kick forward, and then you spin around, and then I throw in this extra little thing. Just because I'm being an asshole. And then you finish and you start walking towards the screen. Right. Okay. So that's the thing. It's totally stupid, really fun. And the whole concept of the show back then was to make fun of these videos and then just kind of do our own little take on them. And Chris had helped me a lot at Talk Soup doing sketches. He and I famously did Manson and Ebert there, which is I think one of my top 5 favorite sketches. At Talk Soup. Let's see. Hold on. This is so.
That was Julia Roberts and Richard Gere teaming up again for the first time since Pretty Woman.
That's Chris.
The film was a saccharine throwback to the old Doris Day movies with Rock Hudson, but without the sexual tension.
Killer Ebert.
Situations and hackneyed dialogue, so I'm afraid I can't recommend it. Charlie?
Big disagreement here, Piggy. I love this romance caper thing, especially the scene where my armies move beyond the program book braves to begin a holy war to do life on Earth. Listen here, you can try and kill me 1,000,000 times, but you can't kill my soul. My 666 beast is running free outside the great big world of cinema.
So are you giving it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
Hey, don't you know, man? Ain't nobody there, man. That's the air we breathe. It's the trees. It's the...
By the way, all the lines I'm saying there are actual quotes from Charles Manson. Like, this is an actual monologue of Manson shit that we looked up.
Water, it's the animals. Same reason they kill rattlesnakes, man. Same stupid macho thing. But when the seventh seal is broken, I'll be laughing with my brothers and sisters.
I also think Julia Roberts is pretty cute. So, is it a thumbs up or a thumbs down?
It's one of these up, man.
So to wrap the reviews on today's show, we split on the Blair Witch Project. I thought it was a scary horror movie, independently filmed and very well done, while Charlie thought it was a comic romp.
Everyone says I'm Satan, some agent of the devil, but these kids are just my children. They're out in the woods, they want to be the next Hitler.
That's a real quote from Manson.
Well, we loved Tarzan. I thought it was suitable for adults and children. Charlie liked the animation.
I ruled the Cook County Jail.
That was another line from it.
Split again on Star Wars Episode 1. I found it to be a triumph. Charlie hated Jar Jar.
God gives life and God takes life, man. I can't kill Jar Jar.
And that wraps up this edition of Manson and Ebert. I'm Roger Ebert of the Chicago Sun-Times, and you're Charlie Manson, Crazy Man.
Listen, man, I'm not crazy. I'm crazy like a fox. I'm crazy like a red-headed stepchild.
You could take like Toastmasters.
I got the magic. I got Toastmasters for you right here. Toastmasters for you.
Cooking with toast.
I don't know why I did the fucking thing barefoot, just because I thought Manson would. I'm so method.
My feet walk the embers of fires of mud because the world.
Good. You're working on yourself because you could use
carry people like me into the new dawn.
The sound on this is shitty because it's so. Anyways, so this is when like Ebert was trying on different guests, right? I can't kill Jar Jar. My favorite one is I ruled the Cook County Jail. Oh shit! Sorry, it's so loud. I turned up the volume so that you beg your pardon. Sorry, everybody. Sorry if I'm really loud. I'll just turn that down a little bit. There we go. That's better. Yikes. Sorry. But anyway, so Chris. By the way, Chris Bono, give it up. Very funny. And like his Ebert was just fucking spot on. So yeah. So anyways, that was this. Oh, that's 2000 right there. That's 99 2000. But the other one was 2007. 2007. Yeah. You sure you never did drugs? Yes, I'm sure. Yeah. So anyways, like that's so funny. Hold on one second. Just hold on, because I think they okay. Anyways, I like, you know how you get one of those situations, and I'll let you guys go because I kept you over a little bit, but you ever get in one of those situations where you're like, finally, I fucking got it. Like I notched one on the belt. I fucking crossed this finish line. I achieved the goal. And then with it comes this kind of like unknown bill you didn't realize you were going to have to pay. And none of it was the one they warned you about. Everybody warned you about fame. And everybody warns you about how people are going to be, are going to treat you or blow smoke up your ass or all that kind of nonsense that you hear about fame or when you make it. And like you're going to be invited to sketchy parties or get caught up doing blow and drug, all that shit. Whatever the storyline they tell you about Hollywood is, fake people trying to screw you and blah. It's not. It's not. Most of it is dickhead coworkers or people who are across the office from you who take the joy out of every day, just like everybody else has to deal with in an office anywhere else. That's all it is. The pitfalls are, it's all, yeah. It's nowhere near what what people say it is. At all. Like, you're going to get all caught up in people. You're going to believe your own hype. And then you're going to, next thing you know, you're going to be, calling your agent in the middle of the night trying to bury a hooker. All those, like, goofy stories they tell about Hollywood and stuff. In reality, it's just like, I don't know, it's a really good show, but my coworker's kind of a prick. Kind of takes the fun out of it, Like, it's like, good. We're all very proud of the work we're doing and stuff, but what an asshole. What I got to do? Oh, my favorite thing this week, but I have to do it with somebody that just seems hell-bent on making it harder for everybody. Ugh. Yes, that's right. Your coworkers suck. All right, I'm going to let you go so you can go watch Liberal Dan. He'll be up at 8 o'clock. Your time, whatever, in about half hour, I guess, his time. Much love. Thank you guys for sticking around with me. I hope that wasn't too self-indulgent, but I just wanted to clear the air about the people that I've worked with in the past. And I will say that, say what you will about Ashton Kutcher, but he came to the defense of Danny Masterson, and he went to Diddy parties and bragged and joked about it. And I never got invited to those parties, and nor would have stayed had I was. I might have shown up because I wouldn't have known any better, but I would have gone, hey, you want to go to the downstairs? What do you mean? There's a downstairs party. Sure, what's it like? Oh, you want to go to the other downstairs party? No, this sounds like a fucking dungeon. I'm leaving. Goodbye. Thank you. No. I gotta go. It is before Uber, so I'm gonna go walk down the street and call the cops. My big fear, of course, is the kidney, and if we have.
The kidney has a very special place in the heart.
Well, that's fine.